It's November, and the floodwaters of the River Niger are beginning to recede. Here in the heart of West Africa, life revolves around the rhythm of the floods, and the stage is being set for the biggest event of the year. For centuries, this massive inland delta has played host to a peaceful and prosperous mix of people. Today, the town of Jafarabi in Mali bustles with farmers, traders, and fishermen of many cultures. And for one group of people, the air is thick with anticipation. The young men of the Fulani people are coming home. Each woman wants to look her best, so they use butter to condition their hair and smooth their braids with flame. Precious family heirlooms are painstakingly woven in, but the men may not return home for a week or more. And for 14-year-old Isa Bar, the time can't pass quickly enough. He's also been gone a long time. 8 months ago, Isa watched her boyfriend leave the delta and head into the brutally dry landscape beyond. For generations, Fulani boys like 16-year-old Yero Sise have made this perilous journey, leaving girlfriends and family behind. And they've done it for one reason: to feed their cattle. For longer than anyone can remember, the Fulani have been cattle herders. Their wealth, pride, and identity are invested in their herds. Every year, the young men and their cattle make an epic and dangerous migration.
So fa hiro jokka fa andi hono joni hono kikire amari joni be garta kasin laata ba ar bira samere bira so be tidike be jarala be jokka mo gondi fu jokka be kirto hirame mabbe.
At the end of the dry season, the boys drive their cattle out of the lush Niger Delta and into the Sahel. Sahel is Arabic for shore, but this is the shore of a desert, not a sea. A scrubby, arid region along the edge of the Sahara that stretches 3,700 miles across Africa. It's the only place they can go. To the north, they're hemmed in by the Sahara Desert. To the south, by the deadly tsetse fly, carrier of sleeping sickness. Cattle are temperate animals. The success of the Fulani's ancestors has been their ability to adapt this animal to an arid environment. They've turned the Sahel into one of Africa's largest cattle herding zones, but at a price. Living mainly on milk, Yero and the other boys are away from home for up to 8 months a year.
Kan gendi gami yebe dum sanni nyalaade dum wono mi tawretu mi yewtaaki hunde bu sina naydi salla an pay tan darami.
Bringing home a healthy herd is part of the traditional rites of passage for Fulani boys. And soon, Yero will be back home in Jafarabi, where his work will be judged. Isa hopes he's done well, with good reason. She's now old enough to get married.
Aha, miram bo mi de.
In Fulani society, parents choose marriage partners. If Yero fails to bring his herd home in peak condition, Isa's parents are unlikely to consider him. Isa's cousin Dada is already married. She's seen it all before.
Sabi worbe makko isuka ay makko worbe barra ay makko worbe fu an ngara. Gira ay mabbe hono e mabbe. Be ngon durobe so nay so be ngoni to. De jaara wari fu be ngarata. Dum ni ana wera be kambe du so be paro fam mabbe be landino. So be jinde fu be jaha be yebe cakito yoddi. Nka hitane fu non be ngadirta.
Hairstyles may take days. Other adornments have been years in the making.
Sokoto wotur ndu en. Be hibbini dubi sappo e joyi. Sokoto ɗiɗɗif hitane ne wayliti fu dayan sokiɓe hitane wayliti fu ɓe cokono kiccokon an ɗum albanaji wiyete ɗum perge wiyete kañƴe ƴaral warta fu min gatta yallara ngarta.
As a married woman, Dada is allowed to wear the family jewels. Amber and gold have been traded along the delta for centuries, a mark of the region's prosperity. Yero and his herd of more than 150 cattle left the delta to avoid the annual flood and find pasture. But keeping his cattle fed in this bleak landscape is hardly Yero's only worry. Rebels and cattle rustlers roam the Sahel as well. Swarms of mosquitoes and ticks carry the threat of disease. From Jafarabi, Yero walked into Mauritania. He followed routes that may have been in existence for 4,000 years, when people and cattle were first forced into the Sahel as the Sahara dried out to become the desert we know today. After 3 months, Yero turned and is now heading home. Now, on the final leg of their trek, both the boys and their cattle are exhausted.
Min puɗɗon gilane nangi ƴiwata gande fangi wartu tawi min ɗon jaha min ɗon ñawra koyɗe min jooɗaki ɗum tuba ko wawade nawala fo a ɓurdim miɗon ɗonɗa miɗon jolba nayi ɗi an tampa min ɗantako.
Nightfall brings other threats, one in particular. Young calves are especially vulnerable.
S'il y a les lions dangereux, on ne dort pas. On a fait un coup, on perd. Il ne vient pas encore.
Throughout the parched Sahel, hundreds of other young herders struggle to keep their animals alive. At shrinking waterholes, squatters' rights prevail. Half a dozen boys will often have to drive off a herd of elephants so their own animals can drink. People are killed every year by elephants in the Sahel. But today, these Goliaths appear in no mood for a fight. As many as 700 elephants migrate through the Sahel, some of the last truly wild herds in Africa. Just like the goats and cattle, they cover huge distances each year, driven by the same relentless thirst and hunger. That trek has left its evolutionary mark on these elephants. They have longer legs than their grassland counterparts, which they need to walk the 800 miles of their migration route, further than any other African elephant. As the dry season advances, the elephants converge on a rare source of permanent water, Lake Gassi. Elephants can drink more than 40 gallons a day, and here there's water enough for everyone. The elephants are allowed to drink unmolested, but they're hungry as well as thirsty, and that means trouble for the people who live around the lake. Tuareg people have a proud tradition as nomads, but prolonged drought forced some to settle along the lake and try their hand at farming. They've made the Sahel bloom, and in turn attracted a plague of giants. In the dry season, Omar Soadu has come to expect visitors.
We are living here in this area just beside the water. Of course, we use water for our garden and for our animals. But elephants, they come to drink water, of course, and they want to cool down their body. So all of us, we share the same water.
During the day, an uneasy peace settles over the lake. People fill their goat skins, the elephants drink. But when night falls, the truce will be broken.
After drinking, they come straight away to the garden because they smell food, trees and crops. So we have to protect our garden.
It takes more than brush fences to keep out 3 tons of hungry pachyderm.
If an elephant spends just half an hour in a garden, he will eat at least 30% of it. And this is the big danger for farmers.
To lose a third of their crop is a catastrophe for any farmer, let alone here. And this is not your average garden pest. As the sun sets, the battle lines are drawn.
The farmer digs holes to keep the elephant away from the farm, to not damage the farm, but it is not enough. They come all the time, spoil a lot of things, and you cannot even get to sleep during the night. It becomes like a nightmare.
Tonight, the nightmare materializes, and the enemy is engaged. At first light, Omar finds he's had a near brush with disaster.
I discovered that there were 2 elephants in the garden. I followed the footprints to the next garden. I found out that they damaged a lot of crop and trees. I do remember since I was a kid, we are doing the same things every year. And for sure, we will do it in the future, every year. And this is the daily fight among us and elephant. Every time we are facing the same problem with elephant, every year.
And there's no end in sight. Throughout Africa, elephants and people do battle. Fences have done little to protect people from elephants, and elephants from people. In the Sahel, it takes an act of nature to end this siege. Rainstorms are welling up from the south, and the elephants seem to know that lush vegetation lies that way. But in 6 months, they'll be back, and once again Omar Soadu will not sleep. 300 miles to the west, the last days of Yedo's migration have come to resemble a forced march.
So yawdi so mi yehi to nayto tampira an woni nyalaade an wara nyalaade a nyama seed a harda to ladde to min kebata to ladde to lemuru min kebata to namas des fois il y a nyalaade du won naggi an nyawahi bido kirsa dum nyama tewu.
But today, they won't be killing any cattle. These are healthy calves, and they need to be branded. Putting his brand on the calves is a proud moment for Yedo. They're a tangible increase in his family's wealth, a testament to his courage and skill over the last 8 months. Fulani cattle are rarely killed for meat. They're dairy cows providing milk, butter, and cheese.
Mine so kam ruini wattu futuro enni mi muncoto mo salla o heltana mo heltata so boy mo heltaji
milk is a remarkably complete food source. It contains protein, carbohydrates, and fat, as well as vitamins and calcium. But it also contains lactose, a sugar that many adult Africans are unable to digest. The Fulani and other groups who have a long association with cattle have retained the ability to digest lactose past infancy, enabling them to benefit from their cattle turning grass into milk. In Jafarabi, the Fulani trade dairy products with other cultural groups. It is this willingness of different cultures to trade and cooperate that is key to the success of people in the Sahel. Tradition dictates that Fulani girls must buy presents for the returning boys. Isa has chosen kola nuts for Yeru. Rich in caffeine, they're chewed as a stimulant. They've long been traded and once served as a currency throughout the Delta and beyond. East of Jafarabi, the Jannah Mosque is said to be the largest freestanding mud structure in the world. Built in the 20th century, it's a powerful reminder of the Islamic influence here. But it's a common misconception that Islam brought civilization when it arrived in the 12th century. There's new evidence that large, diverse cities were here more than 2,000 years ago. These centers of trade and cultural exchange were an African phenomenon. Yedo may be just over the horizon, but until the floodwaters recede, it's not safe to cross. So Isa must wait just a little longer.
Jangoga tumne and then will dangeret sit golluge
Anel kikira jango kawat
me fabi jango kiri do watana
ayo ko janyana asawera
no no njobe tona
nuka sala jeri
As Yeru approaches home, he crosses land belonging to farmers, but far from objecting, they strike an ancient deal. A fresh supply of manure is always welcome. In return for fertilizing the fields, Yeru's cattle get free grazing on the stubble, another example of the kind of cooperation between different groups of people that's made life here possible. A 100 miles east of Jafarabi is another example of cooperation. Tucked under the Bandiagara escarpment are the homes and villages of the Dogon people. They've lived here since the 17th century, but no one is quite sure what attracted them to this place or why they stayed. Growing typical Sahelian crops like millet and sorghum, they appear to be ordinary farmers. But the lives of the Dogon revolve around more than just their crops. Local historian Achu Kasambara explains.
Le premier homme venant ici, c'était beau, c'était un petit paradis pour lui, quoi. C'était très très agréable. Il y avait que des arbres, et puis des lapins, des animaux sauvages, et ainsi que de l'eau. L'eau coulait partout. Mais en plus de cela, il était venu trouver des choses dangereuses ici, quoi.
There's an unexpected serpent in this Eden. Nile crocodiles kill people in Africa every year. But in the Dogon village of Borku, crocodiles and humans have a unique understanding.
Bon, Kombetaï, c'est le boucher du village, ainsi que Kombetaï enlève des morceaux de viande pour donner aux crocodiles.
Kombatai is also the village shaman. He's a spiritual guide and revered protector of the crocodile. These crocodiles are miles from the nearest river, and like the Dogon themselves, their presence is a mystery.
On ne sait même pas qui les a amenés. Pour nous, c'est le travail de Dieu. Même nos anciens depuis l'an X, ils ont venu trouver les crocodiles ici.
Perhaps God did put them here, or perhaps they're relics of a time more than 5,000 years ago when the Sahel was crisscrossed by rivers. However they got here, they found a sympathetic home with the Dogon. To the Dogon, every rock, plant, and animal is a powerful spirit that must be respected. Kombatai looks after the crocodiles, and the crocodiles return the favor.
Même dans le village, s'il n'y a pas de pluie, s'il fait la sécheresse pendant la pluie, donc il demande les bénédictions aux crocodiles. Plus tard, 2 heures, 3 heures de temps, ou bien dans la nuit, il y aura de la pluie.
There's another mystery here. Around 40 crocodiles live in the village. Every year, during the mating season, amorous males signal their intent by blowing bubbles at the females. And every year, babies hatch from eggs laid on the bank. But the population never seems to grow.
Donc après, quand ils vieillissent, bon, ils quittent ici quand même Borko pour aller à un très gros marigot encore. On ne sait pas s'ils s'envolent pour partir ou bien ils marchent à pied pour partir.
But the miracle of the Borku crocodiles may have a more mundane explanation. They may simply eat each other when their numbers grow too large for their pond. The Dogon's bond with nature influences every aspect of their life. The spiritual and the practical are one. In the village of Komakan, preparations are underway for a rare event, the village Dhamma. Dhammas can be held only after a good harvest, and in this environment, that doesn't happen very often. The Dhamma is more than a harvest celebration. It is the door to Dogon manhood. The Dhamma is also feared, as it can usher the old across the threshold of death. Before a Dhamma can take place, conditions must be just right. Sacrifices are needed to purify the village. To wear a mask and dance at a Dhamma is what every boy lives for. If there is no Dhamma, young men remain suspended between boyhood and manhood. Such is the case in the neighboring village of Torelli. Atami Dogolo Sai is 29, but can't yet consider himself a man.
Cela veut dire que quand on n'est pas initié, tu n'es pas un homme au complet. Donc, tu es considéré un peu comme les femmes. Donc, c'est nous les damas, c'est très important.
For the moment, the closest Atami will get to a Dama is grinding the millet for the beer that will be drunk in the village of Kamakan at their celebration.
Il n'y a pas de dama à Tirli. Pourquoi? C'est mon grand-père qui organise les damas et c'est lui qui fait tout. Alors lui, il a peur d'organiser et c'est pour ça qu'il n'y a pas de dama à Tirli.
Atami's grandfather is the oldest man in the village, the revered keeper of the masks. In the village meeting place, he holds court. It's his responsibility to determine the timing of the Dama. But there's a conflict. Some years ago, a spirit told the village fortune teller that the next Dama would herald the grandfather's death.
Si il organise les damas, il doit mourir. C'est ce que le renard a dit. Il risque de mourir, il ne veut pas faire les damas. C'est un grand malheur pour nous.
The last Dama in Torelli was 20 years ago. In neighboring Komakan, the whirring song of the bull roarer announces that the day of initiation is here.
Dama kana ga emen sego wa. Kira ba emen dama ga esi dia ba. Dama emen ana lugo yoji ga ina na be lugo yoji ga. Emen esi dia kije gara gara go wa. Kon go ngane emen ewi gin eba ina kana ko ikana wa.
Meanwhile, Atami decides to act. He asks the fortune teller to contact the spirit that has condemned him to eternal childhood. The old man is the village shaman, and the spirit who predicts the future through him is the pale fox.
Where did he the army the way you go? Nana on Corotin, Corocana, when you are in the Dia Munje. On been Uji Munje. In a cow money on the shore, pretty bigger. Bit in between Dagani, me bato and Dagan.
The final touch is a handful of groundnuts to tempt the spirit. Atami may be disappointed. More than ever, the pale fox is becoming an elusive spirit.
Ajiri goyo. Ayo ko goyo. Wa mona bino kije goragon.
Pale foxes emerge in the cool of the night. Looks like Atimi may have his answer.
Alors mon cœur, ça bat comme ça. Et je vais avoir la bonne réponse. Ce que j'avais demandé au vieux, c'est ce qui me pose le problème. Oi, oi. Boa, boa. É apoio. É apoio. Céu, 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 céu. Vai céu. É apoio. Oio, oio. Ya, me iru kuna mutoro o bravo mo. Oh,
Ba kubeti ai bega be kuberi ga. Kuberi ga kini be piri ga.
Piri ga we.
Iru ga wo kini piri tikala.
Ah, ye via grapo. Quoi les gars?
Bega. Bega na.
Parce qu'avant d'arriver, mon cœur se fait comme ça pour avoir très bonne réponse. Et maintenant j'ai eu les réponses, je suis content.
Back in Komakan, the new day heralds the start of the ceremony that Atami can only dream of.
Nabora pora tiju boy. Nabora gag doggy boy. Bigan gag doggy boy.
Every household offers millet to thank the spirits. The old men of Komakan lead the dancing, showing the youngsters how it's done. Atami may have the fox's blessing, but he still has to persuade his grandfather.
Alors je vais aller maintenant pour lui demander qu'il est temps de faire le don.
Dogon society, authority comes with age, but Atami is desperate, and he knows his quest will benefit all the young men in his village.
Kojituru bagi joni. Munde newe ye. Babala ele ugo ngara yere seyeni. Babala be kon koji noengi. Be kon koji muyale koji noengi.
Bewu baba ele ine pe. Bewu ye choje da udan ye kuna.
Bewu. Kwa dua kuna jikile.
Wa udan ye jukisemno. Ana uye domi.
Kwa kana dua kuna amadua kuna jile. Kukile.
Odi ye jukwe.
Pede kube ni choya kuni kwede.
Be wa na tulu batulu why ke ye gid beda.
Eventually, the old man relents even though it may seal his fate.
Ce n'est pas cette année, mais c'est sûr qu'il y a des damas qui doivent venir. que je dois danser aussi. Avec ça, oh, je suis très content. Je suis très content d'avoir ça.
This year, Atami ground the millet for Adama. Next year, it might be him behind the mask. With home almost in sight, Yedo is looking forward to some female company.
Sugan debbo Aïssa. So mi iwi to, miɗo wakka mo fa wala sees. Sabi so miɗo to, ñalawma ñalata min jiidali, jamma ñalata min jiidali. Nde min jiidi fu ɗum ɓuri welde. Iyo he ñaaye jaaye la ñaali he ñaawi jalali gaño jogo e binde me jaña ñaali he ñaawi jalali iyo he yaaye jaaye la gañe bari basi maukali.
On the edge of the Niger Delta, farmers are harvesting the rice. Traditionally, rice growers are Marka people, but cultural boundaries are beginning to blur. These days, it's just as likely to be a Fulani gathering the harvest. Yedo's cattle graze the stubble, but not for long. The river is low enough to cross. Yedo can go home.
Aywa, d'accord. Aïssa, c'est moi. Bara ngoni ngara, bari. Ah? Ide ngara panjo na bitere landi na law garo joho. Ah, mi sa na jal we na bitabar. Ay fanjel. Ay, dafa le ka ni fu kala sa ta fanjel. Ay, dafa panjo do yawo e di barbar. Ay fanjel. Ja ko andaro ci porna. Ah, hande na bitara na. Ni du yit ma wuri amen. Ci dal fu ngar dum san.
On the far side of the river, boys and cattle from throughout the delta prepare for the crossing. There's one final test. Yedo and the others must each catch their best cow and paint it.
Je me lave, je ne travaille pas beaucoup. Je vois les gens que j'aime, qui aiment moi.
A few of the boys persuade some fishermen to take them across the river to see their loved ones. It's a homecoming for the cattle as well. One final push across the river, and everyone will be able to rest for a while. Yero's cattle are his future, and he chooses to make the perilous crossing with them.
Mi natan leymaji mi jogo saya kany e kiloti e sawru mi jokka e maji perdi bilondira hen so dayan ko waati so won billimi hum billirno so won warngi fa witta mi yaha mi wayltoy mi jokkondira maji dum fadi ƴenta pari sarla idi ndeno.
Yero has triumphed in the Sahel. He's bringing home a healthy herd. It's something in which both he and Isa can take great pride.
Miɗo yeewe ɓe fa wala sese janngo mi yihan ɓe salle way ɗum ana wela kan sen mi yihan yimɓe andu fof mi wulla mi doga mi fija mi jala mine e rewɓe min bilde min gadda kulle ɗe fu iɗum weli janngo ka sani.
One day, Isa too hopes to wear the amber and gold of a married woman. After the exuberance of the homecoming, Isa and Yero at last share a quiet moment together. Yero wants to start thinking about the future. Isa is pleased, but it's her parents who will have the final say. Yero has proved himself an able herder of cattle, and in a few more months he'll have to prove it again. His future, and Isa's as well, is tied to the rhythms of river and land, just as they've been for 1,000 years, on the shore of the desert, the Sahel.
Thank you for your support of the National Geographic Society. With your help, we are able to further our non-profit mission to increase global understanding through education, exploration, research, and conservation. National Geographic, helping you to explore the world and all that's in it.